Hello, today we are going to start taking our beginning, middle, end plans for our story, and we are going to start writing it into a story. So when I am starting to write something, the first thing I do is what we've done already. I make a plan and I picture the story in my head. The second thing I do is I like to talk out my story. That means I like to say the words of my story out loud, because if I can say them, then I can write them. So I'm going to get a piece of paper and I'm going to first say the different parts of the story out loud. And after I say it, I'm going to write it down. So if I go to the beginning, I want to remind myself that in the beginning, I said I was alone on a beach by myself, and it was cold and windy. So now I have to put all of that into a sentence. So I'm going to start off with, one day I was alone on a cold, windy beach. So one day I was alone on a cold, windy beach. You know, now that I'm writing this, I'm remembering something else about that day. I'm remembering that no one else was around. And I'm also remembering that when I was on the beach, it was very quiet. I couldn't hear anything except for the waves. So I'm going to put another sentence here. Even though I didn't put that in my plan, I'm remembering it now. One day I was alone on a cold, windy beach. I didn't see anyone else. The only sound I heard was the waves. So that's what I have so far for my beginning. That's what I have so far for my beginning. One day I was alone on a cold, windy beach. I didn't see anyone else. The only sound I heard was waves. I want to make sure that the person that's reading this can really understand where I was and what I was feeling. I think I'm ready to move on to the middle part. So the middle part is where all of my action is happening. This is the big part of the story. So what happened in the middle? I'm going to read my plan to remind myself. In the middle, I said, the whale jumped. It was huge. It splashed into the water. I was excited and I was thrilled. So I'm going to try and put that into a sentence. You know, this was exciting, so I don't think I want to just say, oh, a whale jumped. I think I want something that's really going to tell my readers that this was something very exciting. So I'm going to write I was very surprised when a huge whale jumped out of the water. So I'm letting them know right away how I felt. I was very surprised when a huge whale jumped out of the water. I'm going to use an exclamation point. I was so excited and thrilled to see the whale splash in the water. Okay, so I said the sentences out loud. Now I'm going to write them down. I was very surprised when a huge whale jumped out of the water. I was so excited and thrilled to see the whale splash into the water. And now I was alone on the beach at first. I told the reader where I was and what I was feeling. Then my big action happened in the middle. A whale jumped, and it was very exciting. And now I'm going to tell the reader the end of my story. So I'm going to read the end to remind myself what happened. I went home and I called my mom to tell her about the whale, and I was happy and grateful to have seen the whale. So I'm going to say out loud the sentences that I want to write before I start writing. I called home to talk to Mom. I told her about the whale. I was happy and grateful that I saw a whale. So I think now that I've said them out loud, I can write them better. And as I'm writing, you may have noticed, I'm still saying the sentences out loud to help me to think about what I'm going to write. So I called home to talk to Mom. I told her about the whale. I was happy and grateful. I saw a whale. Okay. So now I am going to reread the whole thing to myself to see if it makes sense. I'm going to go slowly, and I'm going to use my finger. I'm going to trace over all of the parts that I have read, or that I've written so far, to see if they make sense. So here I have my writing. We're going to read it together to see if it makes sense. And I'm actually going to move it so that we can also see the part of my plan, my picture plan, to see if I covered everything in my plan. So my plan for the beginning part was I was alone on the beach, I was by myself, and it was cold in the beginning. One day, I was alone on a cold, windy beach. I didn't see anyone else. The only sound I heard was the waves. Did I cover everything in my beginning? I think I did. So I think that's good. I'm going to keep reading now, but now I'm moving on to the middle. Let me see if I can move this over so we can see both at once. Oops. Sorry about that. I was very surprised when a huge whale jumped out of the water. I was so excited and thrilled to see the whale splash into the water. Do I have everything from my picture plan here? I was thrilled, excited, it splashed into the water, the whale was huge, and it jumped. I think so. So now I'm going to move on to the last part, the end. So I said I called home to talk to Mom. I told her about the whale and that I was happy and grateful. I called home to talk to Mom. I told her about the whale. I was happy and grateful I saw a whale. So yeah, I think I have everything that's in my plan. And now I'm going to do something that a lot of authors do, a lot of writers do. I am going to take a break. So this is my first draft. And you can turn in, just like I have here, it's just written on a piece of paper. You can take a picture and turn in your writing like this. Or you can type it if you want on a document. It doesn't really matter. But I'd like you to try and take your picture plan and turn it into a first draft of your story. Tomorrow, we're going to take these stories and we are going to try and make them even better. So once you write it, don't throw it away. Save it, hold on to it. But go ahead and take your picture plan and turn it into a story, just like we did today. I can't wait to read your stories.